Hello and welcome back to new week, new game. This is where I go through my Steam library. I pick a game that I have not played, and I play it. What I did is I have a whole playlist filled with games that I haven't played, and I have a way to roll randomly to select something, and this is what came up. And I think that's how I'm going to do my games going forward. Normally I just kind of pick and choose and go, oh, that sounds interesting, let's try that. But I really want to play these games, and just random seems to be the best option. This week's game is Citizen Sleeper. Now if we go over to the Steam store page, we can see that Citizen Sleeper is a role-playing in the ruins of interplanetary capitalism. Live the life of an escaped worker washed up on a lawless station at the edge of an interstellar society. Inspired by the flexibility and freedom of tabletop role-playing games, explore the station, choose your friends, escape your past, and change your future. The tags that it uses on here are narrative, cyberpunk, RPG, tabletop, and sci-fi. So that really caught my eye because I enjoy tabletop games. I don't play them as frequently as I used to, and I don't really have any inspiration to continue playing them. However, I do still enjoy a good tabletop game, and I do like watching and listening to people play tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons or Arkham Horrors, which I never played, but there is a group that I have been watching play these different types of tabletop games. There's even one called Morgborg that they've been playing, which is kind of I don't know, dystopian goblin Mad Max, I guess is the best way to describe it. It's really weird. Anyways, that's not about, or this video is not about tabletop role-playing games. It's about Citizen Sleeper. So without further ado, let's get in the game. Start ourselves a new game. We get to choose our character class. So we have an operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. Okay. Look, we have skills and everything too. What else do we got? Extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. So it looks like we all get to be sleepers, which are like these robots looking class. We have two classes to pick from. Oh, here we go, the other way. Machinist. A machinist repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinists work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. This is kind of what I wanted to do. When I saw that there was engineering as a skill, this is the one that we're going with. Perk/efficient extractor, chance to gain a random scrap item on engineering actions. Let's go. Got a negative at approaching things head on. Unknown, where are you? The first thing you become aware of on waking in is the disconnect. The delay between thinking and feeling. Yeah, been there. Between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptual, but always present. Pretty sure I pronounced that big word right. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. think of that body, forget that body. We're just gonna forget it. Let's forget that body. We got a new body, and it's better than the old body. It's got built-in blackjack and hookers. You resist nostalgia. It is pointless, especially now. This is the moment to reach out, not curl inwards. This is your moment of escape, even if it feels immediately like you traded one prison for another, smaller, colder, lifeless. Is there more to that, or are you just feel like I just insulted myself there? Reach out. You almost laugh, or you would if there was room, or even air, to do so. The walls of the container are immediately present, cold, hard, at your back and face. Hey, whoa. Cramping your limbs. We're in a box. I feel like we're in a box right now. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is immediate. There is no instant throb. No trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the pain? Remember the others? No, remember the plan. This is pain. Let's remember the plan. What was the plan? You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but then your options were limited. And once you got the itch to get out by any means possible, it was either that plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away in the chaos, slip into cargo processing, seal yourself into containers, then just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Somewhere lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough. Enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock, even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Wait for the cold, try to rest. Just try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left. Surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You may have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You've spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Let's rest. Time passes. The cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sounds, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light. White as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow, a figure appears. You are out. Alright. Dragos. Aromatic Salvager? Dragos. A pragmatic and private salvager. Pragmatic. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. "So, sleeper, you all thawed yet?" Say almost. "Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better preservance in sub-zero vac. Seem more than a few of you frozen solid to whole plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky." Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glistening eyes, the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Irising? "Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long." You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in memory for a moment. Or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. I plan to survive what happens to them. Let's do that one. What happens to them? He ignores your question. "I won't ask what led you to do it. To sell yourself to a corporation? And I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now. And you are just software. A rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property." You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells, the promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the new familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least, one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S&OP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well, then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Plan obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administrated supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them, and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you're one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The Eye is the best place you could be right now. The Eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freighter container I've been using as storage, out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion. Fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. Nod. All right. You head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Drago stalks back into the Rex, his drones already converging on a rusting, hulking plasma flashes, silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Rusting Hulk. Tutorial introduction. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to the current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container located to the rest and end the cycle now. Continue. Take it this is empty container, which is your home for now, and we're gonna end cycle. I'm gonna take a drink of water. Container, 4 still walls. You wake curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. It messages readable but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are, on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Escape, getting answers, building a life. Let's do building a life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here, on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container: the mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sats of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the satch smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. Sachets? As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring, like the station, but skeletal and ghostly. A web of threads pulling at your skin. A constellation of bright polygonal shapes, like angular suns, burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you finish drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best as you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. What's this? Tutorial, condition, action, dice, and energy. 1. Condition. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by 1 segment each cycle, but can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. 2. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. And 3. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. Alright. So take it, this is the energy bar. flickering, or maybe that's the energy bar. Wonder if them being different colors means anything. Let's leave. Back to Dragos. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder. It catches its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Not good. The drone chirps. Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much. It'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. All right then. He nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old holes down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for Cairo. Occasionally, we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figured as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously, I'll slip you a few chints of commission based on what you turn up. Chints? These. He pulls out a handful of small metal bars. Air-walled cryo, isolated from the market. It's what we use for trade out here. He stuffs them back in a pocket. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can. In sleepers, well, he trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard. He pauses. I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here, or there. He pauses, thinking for something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you are feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Alright, I guess this is Dragos Yard. Let's go in here. Actions are the primary way you interact with the world of a Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag your chosen action dice to the slot. So it tells you all the different things. Actions reward you with clock, progress, energy, condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. And negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. Looks like yellow 6 is a 100% chance, a yellow 5 is a 50% chance positive, or a 50% chance neutral. Looks like they have half white, half yellows. For 3 and 4, which is a 25% chance positive, 50% chance neutral, 25% chance negative. And then 1 and 2 is 50% chance neutral, 50% chance negative. Oh man. There's the type. Either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk. Either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss of condition, energy, or Cairo. Risky, negative outcome means cryo or energy loss. Danger, negative outcome means condition loss. Neutral outcome can mean cryo or energy loss. And then there's skill, which is this endure, engineer. The skill that this action requires, either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. And then 4 modifier, either -1, 0, +1, or +2. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. All right, So we've got these different things. So there is actual thing with engineer in it, and it does have risky. That is safe. I'm thinking about taking that, putting it in here. Even the rustless hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. Input dice. Back in business, every salvager knows they are always just one lucky hole away from their next payday. Input dice. A debt called in. Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or two, things could get nasty. And I guess that cycles with a clock, negative, a positive. Let's go ahead, I'm gonna do that there. Boom, 100% positive because we get a +1. And then I'm going to put that right there. Oh, okay, I can only do one at a time, I guess. Guess in this case we'll do this, start action. Boom. Tutorial clocks. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Dragos' debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Continue. Alright. So yeah, we can just keep repeating that. Manual salvage. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labor. I'm going to do this just because it's not risky, it's safe, and it's got a 50% new and neg, so let's see what happens. Tutorial. Drives and navigation. In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives. Depending on which path you wish to take, you can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. What's this thing here? Or maybe that thing up there. Drives and navigation 2. You are now free to explore Erlin's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Use the mouse wheel or W and S to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Alright. Negative outcome, but we still got 5 Cairo out of it. I guess leave now. Go find a doctor. Leave. It's fast. Shipyard. Havagen construction yards. The empty container. Drago's yard. Dock C4. Rotunda wet dock. Rotunda A. Old dock terminal. Dock B2. Rotunda wet dock. Bright market. Bustling open market. And low end gate. Passage into the low end. Wonder if that's where I can find a doctor. After some spacers caused some troubles in the low end, Yadigan have imposed a toll for entry. No one gets in without paying. Alright, never mind then. Bright market. Let's see what we got down here. Ask for directions. That'll put us in danger. Explore the market. The smells, sound, and buzzing activities the bright market make it a dizzying place to wander, but an enticing one too. It's risky, so I don't want to do it. We've only got 20 Cairo. Let's leave. Let's go dock B2. Salvage sortie. It takes several cycles to reach the Star Ward Belt and return, loaded with scrap from the old wrecks. Okay, guess that's nothing. Rotunda. Steal dock plans. Explore the rotunda. It's risky. The rotunda of the old dock is filled with passageways and concourse leading to all kinds of docking bays. If you do this, you get Hevenge watch list. Hevenge run the rotunda and their security watches the docks, but are to avoid attracting their attention. So I guess every fail that fills up. And then dock watchers. Getting to know the rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Alright, we're gonna leave out of here. Let's go to dock C4. Helion Crossing. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet of the Helion system are rare, but those that do always eventually return. Okay, leave out of here. Drago's Yard, the empty container. There's nothing further down this way. Shipyard. Haven's construction yard. Assist a shipbuilder. You don't have connections, but you do have skills. If you can get a shipbuilder to notice them, you might be in. So every positive we get here adds to this. Same over here too, haul materials. The only way to get to know the shipyard is to do work here. No tourists here. Well, I don't know where I'm supposed to go to get food. And I'm not really sure about where we go to meet a doctor. I would figure here, but in order to get to Lowen Gate, you have to have 60 credits. Bright Market is something that I can do. Guess we'll do one more action and then I'm gonna call it because it's past 30 minutes. We'll explore the market. I mean, I only got a 2, which is a 50% neutral and a 50% negative. So let's start the action, see what happens. Negative outcome. We lose energy. So that bar just went down. I don't know how to get more energy. Leave. Is there anything else here at Drago's Yard that we can do? No. Guess I'll just do this. Start action. +5. Negative outcome. Still got something for it though. Alright, let's leave. I think that is gonna do it though. That is Citizen Sleeper. Definitely inspired by tabletop role-playing games. I do not think that this is a bad game in any way. Is it a game that I can feel myself coming back to? Maybe. I'm a bit intrigued just because I kind of want to see what the outcomes and stuff like that happen. Having find a doctor as an objective and not really having a clear sight of where to find a doctor is a bit of a task, especially since it doesn't seem like we can really interact or talk to NPCs. I guess what we have to do is we have to complete certain areas so many times, or like go in and get positive results in different areas so you can fill up those little bars like this one here where it gets filled up and then something happens. That's for a cycle, but like we had that here at the shipyard. So like if we continue to do here and get better stuff, that goes up, and then whatever happens here, whoops, leave. Same with over here at Drago's Yard, where if we just kept going here and doing the back-end business thing and getting that to a positive, something happens, and then I guess another event goes on, and maybe that gives us other options of things to do, or an interaction that can kind of change our outcome and how we do stuff. As for finding food or anything like that, I thought I could go to the market to find it, but it also looks like it's one of the same things where we gotta get some local knowledge, and then if we get 3 positives out of these, then something happens. So that's what catches my curiosity. That's what would bring me back, is because I want to figure out what happens. And I like the dice rolling aspect. That's definitely a big tabletop role-playing game aspect of it. High numbers, good results, low numbers, bad results. And that's how they're playing it here, just using a type of D6 system. So yeah, good game. We'll give it a thumbs up. Would come back and try again. Using the same save, not starting over. But yeah, that is gonna do it for me. Thank you all for watching. And I'll see you in the next game. Goodbye.